at all.
Um, so again, what I'd like to reiterate here right off the bat, if you think I have a black eye this morning, I kind of do. I did some, since I can't go to the dermatologist, I did some home operations this morning. Cut a thing off my eye, you know, what's an eye or two? It just bled for a little while.
So yeah,
Yeah, I do it myself. I told my doctor that once. Again, we were talking before you guys got here, Noel and I were talking. I noticed that why am I recording this? That the older I get, my eyes are, and I'm figuring in another 10 years, I won't be able to see because my eyelids will be down over they actually do, the Illinois Eye Clinic does eye lifts, so I can see again.
A blepharectomy.
Yeah. But anyway, oh yeah, Rita's also a respiratory therapist. So if you guys have COVID-19, you might see her. But anyway, where was I at now? No, I lose.
Dogs.
Dogs. Yeah. So we made dogs. So again, we have our class that we created, and then we create our class, and then we had our constructors. And again, don't forget, even in your book, they may not create constructors, but in my class, you'll create constructors, which are, there's two types, the default one, where the user doesn't have to put anything in when they send the request to do, here goes the dog, the mailman. Every day I go through this. And you know what? They'd lick him to death if they could get to him. So you have these constructors. The default one, the person creating, instantiating, creating an instance of it, do not have to put anything in when they call it, okay? The parameterized one with a different signature, same name, different signature, because it has parameters, you have to provide the arguments for, the user has to provide the arguments before they can instantiate the copy or the instance of the animal. So it's a little bit, in my belief, again, I can control, believe it or not, what my instance is going to look like more with the default than I can with the parameterized ones. Because in the default one, like we did the other day, I can do all the sets myself. And I can say, okay, if they want to set the height of something, I can make sure it's an integer by writing code for that. Or if I want them to be limited to 7 different breeds, I can do, or 7 different groups, I can do that. Where if I give them the parameterized one, where the programmer that's programming the instance, I have to depend on them knowing what they're doing to send the right arguments to the parameterized one constructor. Do you kind of understand what I'm saying? That's a question anyway.
Could you just, I don't know. It's still a bit confusing.
Okay, once again, when I use the default one, you notice we had set underneath it, where we set the name, we set the breed, we set the group, we set the height, the weight, and the color. And we controlled that in the class that we were creating. If I did the other one like we did right off the bat, all it needs is those parameters set in. They could be literals, like we did right at first. We created dogs by just typing in, okay, it's a collie, comma, 100 pounds, comma, 60 inches tall, comma, whatever. And boom, I create a dog. But nobody checked those numbers. Okay, I could have had a 1-inch Great Dane and nobody would have, it would have created it. Where I can limit things like that. We could have put in things for, okay, is it a large dog, medium dog, or small dog, and put weight limits or heights and limitations, all kinds of stuff, build it into the class so that when somebody tried to instantiate that, they would be limited to those confinements. okay, to those attribute conditions that we set up. So I think you have more control that way, good or bad or whatever. So you should be able to, you should know what a constructor is and that there's two types. You should know what sets and gets are. A lot of people get confused, okay? Set means you're gonna set a value for the variable, okay? And gets are, I'm gonna return a value to wherever I want it, okay? And you'll see sets and gets, and there's some other names for it. I mean,
So sets define it and then gets retrieve.
yes. That's
Okay, that makes sense.
the setter gives a value to the variable, and then the getter goes and gets it, okay? So usually a getter will have a return, okay, and a normal data type. So it has to have a data type because it's returning something. Setters are always voids, okay? They're always a void data type when you have a setter, okay? So you'll see sets, gets, what in the hell else are they called? Something, I think your book has another name for them, and I forget at the moment what it is. But they're the same thing, okay? So you have setters, getters, and then you can, I'll tell you, then you can write your own methods in there. And again, if you think of it as the class as a blueprint, okay? And again, we have all kinds of people involved in the real world where the class we're creating, you're like the architect of what we're gonna build, okay? You're not the builder, okay, the carpenter. That's the guy that writes the code that we instantiate the object in. It's like our scanner. We've used the scanner all semester. The guy that wrote the code for a scanner, you've never met him, right? Anybody ever met that guy? Because I haven't. But yet we've been using his code all semester, have we not?
Okay,
Somebody nod their head, yeah.
there's nodding heads.
Okay. And do you know that you're limited to what you can put in there, right? In other words, if you don't type system dot something at the end, it's not going to work, is it? No, Doug, it's not.
I've never tried it without system.in.
And you have to put the new in there, right? Scanner
Right.
user in equals new scanner system.in, right? If
Right.
you don't type it that way, it's not going to work. So somebody, the architect, wrote that program or that class for you to use, okay? So that's what we're doing now, okay? I mean, the stuff we're writing, I don't know, maybe somebody will come along and want to use it for something, but it doesn't have to. So we're playing the part of several people here while we're doing this. It just so happens in the educational field, we're playing all the parts. Somebody said, hey, Doug said, you need to create this program. Okay. So he's the manager or whatever. And I call you guys, you are the architects, okay, that are going to write the classes. But you're also going to be the programmer that uses the class to create a program. And guess what? You're also the user that's going to test the program's use. So there's really like 4 people involved, okay? And like I was telling you the other day, if you continue on into Java 2 and Java 3, or at least Java 2, Rafiq, you'll find out that this becomes a lot more of what you're going to learn is data structures and how to create more of your own classes, okay? I can't think of the word this morning. It's a lot more. You don't even have to create classes that are for real objects. It can be stuff you've made up, okay? That's how it works. So today, what I thought we'd do is we're going to create a fan. Okay. Sounds easy. What does a fan do? You know, blows hot air. It could be called Doug or something. Okay. But I thought we'd create a fan and see how that goes. All right. So again, if you have any questions, just pop in at any time. Am I sharing yet? I'm not sharing yet. Let me
Not yet.
start my NetBeans here before. Sometimes it brings it down.
Sorry, I just want to make sure that was working. Hi, Rita.
Oh, hey, Josh.
How you doing?
Muddling through. How about you?
Good. Been doing pretty well with stuff so far, so I can't complain.
Good.
I didn't want to interrupt, so I waited to say hi.
All right.
Yeah, I was like,
So let's go ahead and we can start sharing here. Rita had quite an experience the other night. My class, I think I told you guys, or maybe not, that our class on Tuesday, for some reason, my Wi-Fi went out. So
That's always
those guys
fun.
were muddling around for 10 minutes or whatever with, where's Doug at? In the middle of class.
We hung in there, though.
8 out of 11 hung in there, I must
Yeah.
say. So Rita kept them in shape while I was gone. Then I go down in my basement and sit 3 feet from my wife, from my router. So they got to see my basement while they were. And you know, Rita, all I did yesterday is I went down and just rewire or just kind of move my wires around and just moved my router a little bit. And so far, God bless, I've been sitting up in my back room again. I don't have to sit in the basement.
Well, I think it was the storm that
Yeah, it might have been.
interfered a lot.
But Rita got to hear me kill a spider too.
You're a jack of all trades.
I am. I'm quite the. All right, so we got a new project going here, and let's call it Acme Fans or something. I should get royalties from Acme. There is an Acme corp out there, I think. I think it has to do with the Roadrunner and all that stuff. I'm not sure.
And Wild E. Coyote.
Yeah. Fans and this. Oh, and you guys got to see us actually use the word this the other day. If you remember, when I was talking about the variable names. Oh gosh, it's the last day. Payday. In Visual Basic, this becomes the word me. Me does the same thing, refers to the class that I'm in or the form I'm in at that time. one thing again, I want to remind you guys, don't get sloppy in your code. The other day when I was grading, I was really disappointed in that a lot of stuff I graded had single letter variables, I's and J's, and all that. We can do better than that, okay? And I know the book does it, and everybody wants to put in I and AB or AC, whatever. But don't do it. Make your variables rows and like row, column, COL, index, things like that. Believe me, in the long run, you're just better off. All right, so for right now, that's pretty clean, and we got that. So we're going to go ahead and Control C this part up here. And I'm going to go up here and say I want a new something. And Java class is fine. And it's just going to be called fan.
What did you click on to get to that screen?
The little white, you can either do it from up in File or right below it, that little white piece of paper.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
And you said Java class?
It's a Java class, yes.
And you just named it fan.
I
Okay.
named it fan. So I'm going to alter this here. And then here. I think that's all. I don't know if it had a name or not. I'm checking unless somebody has that chapter open.
Speed, a Boolean field for on off, radius, color.
Is that it?
Yep. And then a method. But you'll show us how to do that.
What a method for what?
It says a method named toString that returns a string description for the fan.
Yeah. We'll see. Something like that. Okay, so again, we go here. We're inside this class. That's all right. I think I'm going to import Java. I have that. Oh, this has to be, package always has to be where? Up first thing.
Above the import.
Yeah. If it isn't, it won't allow you to do that because it needs to know what files are up in here, okay? Because if I have any files, and they have to be imported prior to running the program. Okay, and that's one of the rules. I don't have, now see how my mind is Option strict, that's in VB, right? We don't have option strict. No. You guys don't know what option strict is, do you?
What did you ask?
Do you guys know what option strict is?
No idea.
I have no idea.
No.
That's good. You haven't had VB yet. Okay. So things we need, right? So we need private. Radius is going to be what? An integer, I would think.
Do we need to import the scanner?
Not
You
yet.
already did.
Well, import it, but we need to set up the.
Yeah, I'll need to create it right here too. Radius. Private. Color will be what is green. Private.
Power is on.
Speed. Let's see, that's gonna be let's make it a char. Okay, and then for Rita, we'll go back to this.
Well, I know you're going to need it.
Jeez. So here, like I was talking about before, oops, I would final.
You need a variable like a MyScan.
I think I need a name. And it's going to yell at me here. So again, somebody wrote this code here, right here. It's in the library. Okay. And here we're instantiating their scanner and making it an object right here. Okay. So it goes and gets that code. It's like a blueprint, right? Everybody that uses this has to build it this way. Same thing when we go to build our fan over here, once we want to instantiate it, whoever's doing that has to build their fan using our stuff right here. Now, can they add to it in the code? Well, sure they can. They can make it have they might have, once they're over here, they might want to know what the cost is. So they could have code to get the cost. But when they create the fan, they're going to have all this stuff already waiting for them. The code is already done. They don't have to redo this part, but they can add to it, okay? So let's do, I think that looks pretty good. And so let's go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and create our constructors. So we're going to have a default constructor. And once again, they have to be called the same thing. So all it is private or public. Public fan. Has to be named the same. Whatever you call it here, you'll notice the one I did the other day, I just did dog. It's like a noun. You want to, this is a noun. Okay. You probably wouldn't want to have a class called like running for that because that's a verb. Okay. So because it's an object, right?
Okay.
So then I create, this is my default here. And then I'm going to have another constructor. that is parameterized. And it's going to be public. And then it'll be int this color. And now, again, like I said the other day, this right here is not the same variable as this one here. Two different things. Okay. Notice nothing like if you realize that in NetBeans anyway, if I click on a variable name, it lights up all the same variables in my program. And you'll notice that when I double click speed up here, it does not light up this speed down here. And that means that they might have the same name, but they don't have the same scope. Okay? They don't have the same scope. So if I was to do this, watch this. All three of these are the same thing, which is ridiculous. I don't want to do that, right? If I do this, however, now what's lit up? That one, this one down here is the same as this one because it has a larger scope, but this one overrides it down here. This one's only good in this procedure, this special procedure we call a constructor. And why do people do this? All they'd have to do is rename one of them. In other words, if I put M underscore here, and I put M underscore radius here, I don't have to use the this in front of it. And it's easier to tell that it's a different variable than this one is. However, in most books in that, this, like this, is how the book is going to show you to do it. So I want you to be familiar with it, and that's why I'm showing you how to do it this way. This, everywhere, and this. What was this for? Oh,
Color.
is on radius, color is on speed. Is on speed. Normal. Very slow. All right. Looking good. All right. So then, how we doing? Everybody's saved at this point.
I'm doing well.
That's good. I like when people are doing well. All right.
Yeah.
So let me think here. But if I do that, and here instantiate that, do that. All right. So now we're gonna do our setters and getters. Okay, and so you should have something looks like that. And this is the cool part. All you're gonna do is right click right there. And I'll do it again. Right underneath the setters and getters thing I put in, right click, go up here to insert code and click setters and getters. And we want all of these. So we're gonna click here, highlight those, and we can just say generate. And there it all is. And
So cool.
so everybody get that?
Yeah.
How did you set up the setters and getters again?
I just right click down below, insert code. Why didn't that pop up that time? And you choose setters and getters. Okay, something's
All right, I got it to all look good.
all right. I don't know what happened there. It kind of went crazy. Now that we have setters and getters, we're not going to worry about the setters for a minute. But watch, we can go back to our Acme fans now. And I can say fan. And I forget the order I put them in. Radius, I think, was the first one. So it's a 24-inch fan would have a radius of 12. And then I might add color next. And then I had char. So we'll say it's a.
It was is on or off. It was the Boolean next.
Yeah, okay. So then I can say true here. And then last one was
Speed,
speed. And it was a char too. It was a char, right?
the char.
So I'll say fast. And then I can say let's see. Let's just see what the speed is. So if I run this now, I created a fan. This is I instantiated. So again, I had to supply. If I didn't supply all 4 of these arguments, because that's what our fan says I need, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 arguments of the right type, I would get an error here. If I run this now, and you can see I get red F here. So I have a red fan that's running fast. I didn't put a space in. I should have probably done that. So I could have said here, I could have said like that, and I would have got this. Oh man, I'm missing space there. What I could have done this one. Slash N. Much better. So make sure you can do this right. Yours runs. And tell us, anybody that isn't running needs to tell us.
Is he supposed to run a marathon or no?
Sure is a knee slapper.
Yeah.
No, you should just run away after that joke.
Oh, geez.
Oh, geez. Actually, I love puns, so that was
I love fun too, man.
that was a gorgeous display.
I was just lazy.
So again, you've instantiated a fan now. You made an instance of your object, right?
Very nice.
Fan is defined. Fan is defined and instantiated. So
There you go. All right, so now we need to tweak the other one, the one I prefer to use. Now again, what you have to understand on this one, we put in literals here, right?
Yes.
Nobody checked them. Nobody, if I was to have done see, it's gonna just crash, right? So if I want to use this parameterized one, I should somewhere here make these variables, right? And down here have code to check what are the values that I can put in here. I shouldn't just do this by putting literals in here, right? Because then I can't have a user. The programmer can put these in, but somebody that's running the program, we had no chance when we run this. Nobody asked us what the perimeter was, or the radius was. Nobody asked us what the color was. So as a user, all I get to do is press the button. Not very useful, right? So let's go make it useful. We'll keep this one here just as an example. Okay, so we have all these sets down. Okay, here's our get. Let's clean it up a little bit. Put all of our braces in a row, all our eggs in, or what do you call it? All our put in a row. Ducks. Ducks are in a row. Hey, I got some eggs the other day. I got duck eggs instead of chicken eggs.
Sweet.
They're big. Duck eggs are bigger.
when you reorganize these, it looks a little bit less abrasive to the eyes.
There you go.
That's
I
how
hear-
you fun. That's how
I hear
you
the-
fun.
Shoot.
But
I hear the duck eggs are really good with Quacker Oats.
Oh, no. No. I have a duck story, though. So, anyway, my egg person that I get my eggs from church ran out of chicken eggs yesterday. So she threw in 2 duck eggs
That was nice.
into my eggs. The eggs I get from her are various, some of them look like ostrich eggs, I swear. But none of them are white eggs on the outside. They're either blue, brown, all different colors. It's kind of weird. But they're always really, she gets them, I get them the same day she takes them. Whatever. But my duck story is one time I was building, or remodeling this room I'm sitting in, actually. And I was running plumbing. And so I sent my wife, I needed, of course, when you're doing plumbing and you don't do it every day, you don't know, you don't have all the parts, right? So I'm underneath in the crawl space, laying on my back in a spot, being as claustrophobic as I can. And I needed a part. So I yelled to my wife, I said, you need to go get me this from the hardware store, which is down below. I don't have to climb out of here. Okay. So off she goes to get the part, and I'm still laying under there. 30 minutes later, I'm still laying under there. Okay.
How far away is the?
Finally, I crawled out, and she still isn't back. As we go down here, I want you on all the ones that are sets, okay? Let's go ahead and get rid of the public and make them private. Because I don't want the other programmer to be able to change these. I'm going to limit what they can do. And so here, under set radius, I'm going to say. Anyway, so finally she gets home. And her reason for leaving me stuck underneath the cross base was she was driving down the street and it was raining and there was a family of ducks crossing the road.
Oh.
And the mother duck is going along and the baby ducks got washed into the storm sewer.
Oh no.
Great. So her and a lady managed to find a net, a fishing net or some type of net, and fished the baby ducklings out of the storm sewer.
Oh.
That is the cutest story I've ever heard.
Isn't that cute?
It is.
You're just kind of like in a crawl space, like, hello?
Yeah, well, that's basically was it, yeah.
How far away is the hardware store? Like, would she have normally returned quickly?
Yeah, it's only a quarter of,
Oh.
5 blocks.
Right near the hat ads.
Yeah, right across the street from Mad Heads. That isn't right, Doug. Okay. So if
Next.
I do that,
It.
so by doing this again, I am limiting, right, what this person can do. When they go to enter the radius.
Should that be next int?
No. No, all this does is clear the buffer. That's what you want.
Oh, okay.
And what was I going to do here? Was this radius? do scan. Geez. So now I have that set up. So I'm checking as the person writing the class, I'm the architect saying, this is what you'll use you don't get to choose. This is how we're going to set a radius, okay? So up here now I can type set radius.
Is this what returns it to the main?
No, no, no.
No,
All this is what? Is this a get?
no, it's a set.
It's a set. Is it public or private?
Public.
No. We just changed it to private, right?
Okay.
If you go down here, one of the things I said to do
Change it to private.
is change this to private, right? So the Acme fan program cannot see this right here. It doesn't know it exists. All
Okay.
it can do is get the radius because that's public. Comprende?
So then what is the purpose of putting set radius under the default constructor?
Because when I go to create a fan, it's going to pop up. Watch. Don't do this yet. Watch this. Do not do this yet.
Should that be capitalized?
Oh, no. Comprende now?
So the purpose of putting the set of calling the function under the default constructor is to is for the main to have access to it. Like, what if we hadn't put set radius under that default constructor?
What? Now, okay, if I did this, then when I construct the fan, I get
Nothing.
because I didn't put in any setters or getters. I could, over in that code over here, if there's still, let's see, what do I want to do here? Yeah. Because there's nothing for it to do right now. In fact, I create it, but it doesn't do anything. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. We need to go back over here. So we're going to undo this. We want to control. So we're controlling that now. So we can go down to, we'll skip this one here. We'll go down here now. When you clean this up later to turn it in, you guys should oh God, I'll just put it in.
Could you scroll back up to the default constructor?
Not that hard. Type,
Thank you.
go down here. I'm too anal, I can't leave it stay like that. All right, and so then this is, notice again, all these sets are voids because they don't return anything. All of our gets have to have a data type because they return something. And we're going to get rid of this. This won't be anything more than and if we wanted to limit it like we did, we limited the group dogs yesterday. We could have said, okay, it's either got to be black, white, and whatever. But we won't do that. We'll just do this. And again, you have to realize that this is a modular wide variable. So I can just, I don't have to say, that this is a string here because it knows it is because that's the same variable that's up here, color. Here, I'll go down here now, color should be lit up, which it is. Okay. So then we'll go down to this one. And then again, is like this is a convention. If you use that, normally, if you're looking at somebody's program, you know it's a Boolean. A lot of times they'll say is on flag, and we could do that if we wanted to. In other words, the flag is either up or down. We don't have any half mast programming anyway. But flag is the term we use. Let's go ahead and use flag so that you guys get familiar with that. So I'm going to say is on flag here. So you got to change it there. And then we'll change it down here. Is on, is on. We're going to get rid of that. And change it to is on flag. See, it even tries to put it. If you notice here, it said is on even before because it knows it's a Boolean. So it tried to put yeah. Yes, that's okay. I still don't like it, but that is on flag. Let's make it.
Hmm.
Oh, let's make this get on flag. There we go. I like that better. On flag. So just correct those. So it reads like this. Oops. Go about 1 or on 0 or false. Off. Hmm. I'm just thinking here it should be
I think you need the pipes, right?
Oh, come on. You mean this isn't Python?
Not today.
I also needed a double equal sign. You didn't catch that. Ah. Thinking on the run here. No.
How different is Python from this?
No, it's easier. Let's put it that way.
So it's better for beginners?
Yes.
I should have taken that. I just been struggling a lot with this class because the person that was helping me, he's one of the people that dropped out.
Oh no.
So I don't know. I've just been trying my
You need
best.
You need a second close parentheses.
See how good Rita is?
This is part of the plot. He waits until we have like 3 weeks left to be like, oh yeah, there's an easier way to do it. Python's better.
No, I love Java. So
Yeah, I don't mind it so far. I guess I don't really have like a point of reference for other languages, but
It's just been difficult.
I will tell you this again. Once you learn one language, the rest are far more easier. The logic is the same. All that changes is the syntax. The difference between like C++, C Sharp, and Java and Python, minuscule. The first three definitely. Python's kind of its own animal, but for the most part,
my uncle's been a programmer for like 20 some years. He was in the military and then he worked for Raytheon for a really long time. So when I told him I was going into computer programming, he was of course like really excited. And I told him I was like, yeah, I'm starting off with Java, and he was like, oh, he's like, learn C++ and C Sharp. I was like, great.
Java's
Wow.
the most widely used. So.
Yeah.
I've had friends tell me that JavaScript is like Java, but it's just a little bit less particular.
Well, it's more for
Web development, obviously.
yes. Yes.
Of course, I think he was just giving me a hard time, but it was still funny.
Oh no, I've had friends tell me like beginners should not take Java, but I'm already in too deep.
People do kind of joke that Java is like one of the like kind of programs, but it's still not a
I'll tell you what, it's
bad one to learn at least.
used.
Mhm.
I don't know. I would consider
Thank
taking
you.
Python in the future.
It should not be here. A second.
There's a problem with one of my lines of code. It's the while choice does not equal one. It says it's an illegal start of an expression. I don't know how to fix that.
Make sure you have double
You're missing
parentheses and make
probably
sure
the-
that exclamation point is between two parentheses and not in front of the choice statements.
The double what?
Make sure you have two parentheses on each side,
I
and
have
then
those.
make sure that
It
Do
says
you
that
have a semicolon at the end of this line?
I do. It says it's an illegal start, so I'm just wondering how I could fix that.
Hang on. You are, if it says this is an illegal start of a line here,
Yeah, it says that there.
okay, then something up above here is bad. Either you're missing a semicolon here, or something up here, or here.
Yeah, I have all that. I don't know what it's unhappy about.
Okay, hang on a minute. Let's see your screen.
All right.
You
You're
need
missing your
another.
parentheses.
Missing a parenthesis.
Yeah. It's in the while statement. It would be right after the exclamation point.
Between,
Right
Yep.
there.
yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, there we go.
Stop sharing. There you
Basically, just to show that all of that is going to be in the not rather than the
Oh.
first one.
Fine, all that, I get it.
Yeah.
Apologies for the inconvenience.
It's okay.
go. So let's, once we have that, I think that's right. It's kind of nice. So again, here we're controlling what they can put in. They can put in a 1 or a 0. If I allow it, the person over in Acme Fans to do it, they might do it a different way. Okay? But here, I'm controlling that they either have to put in 1 or 0, hopefully. What in the hell? Oh. Right here in this, in the parameterized constructor, just change this to is on flag, and same thing down. My campus town Starbucks is going to reopen Monday for limited hours and, of course, only to get it to go. So what I thought I'd do is get a lawn chair and put it in the back of my truck, get my coffee, and go out and get in the back of my truck and sit on my lawn chair on the corner of Main and University without a mask on and see if Pritzker will arrest me or not.
Yeah. He himself
I
is
know
going to come down and be like, Doug, I've come for you.
Well, you
Now,
know,
what did I tell you?
let's have some common sense, okay? If you're out on a surfboard by yourself in the middle of the friggin' ocean, do you get arrested? If you're out riding a bike on the Rock Island Trail and you pass somebody going in the other direction, should you really think that you should have a mask on while you're riding a bike down, you know?
What if you trip and fall on them and then cough incessantly and then you're
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, I think like do like a backflip over them and like while you're doing
Yeah.
That's true. Coughing their
like,
face.
Oh, sorry.
People are wearing masks
And
in their
again,
cars.
I'm not. I know,
Yeah.
I know this is being recorded, but I'm not. I'm just trying to look at the science side of it. I don't.
No, yeah, it's
I don't want anybody to die.
I mean, more people have died of this than died in the entire Vietnam War.
Well,
Americans.
also, look at what they're counting as dying from. You know, it's. I don't-
It's
we shouldn't talk about it. I'll just get myself in trouble. So now we're going to go here and go set is, what did I call it? Oh, set on flag. Okay, so now if we run this, let me make sure. Oh, what I got here?
Wasn't it is on flag?
No, I changed it, I think.
Yeah, the
Changed it right here.
function should be set on.
Same thing here, I changed it to get on flag. I left the variable, I changed the variable name, but I have an error here somewhere. Oh, I'll bet you here, watch. No. Oh, because over here, no.
Oh, no, it's okay now. I think
Oh.
you just needed a second to save.
Yeah, it was.
Excuse me.
So now if I run it, it says, what's the radius? And again, if I put X in there, it says, we got it right. So I'll put 10 in. Then it says, enter 1 for on, 0 for off, only 1. Oh, that's not right. So if I put 1 in, ooh. That's not.
In that statement that you made before, inside of the set on, you have set next to uppercase and then character at. So I don't know if that's gonna.
Geez.
Yeah, so that's why I was wondering earlier if you're gonna put a letter in or if we were just using numbers. Different.
Let's do. We got some crazy stuff going on. Let's try that. Not that that should matter, really. I scan. Okay, so I get here. Enter 1 or 0 for off. Oh, I don't have a next in here anymore. So we got to get rid of that. Oh, okay, I know what it is. It'll be my scan. Let's think here. I think. That's next. That's big. That's Boolean. I don't want to do that really, but I think I'm going to. All right, we're going to make it a little more unfriendly.
Wouldn't it just be easier to set it to character for like Y, and then whenever it's not
How
Y?
about this? See, I don't like that.
That's what I did, and I'm not having any issues.
What'd you use? Yes, Ron?
Yeah, I just used yes and no. Let me look. Yeah, I just used yes, no, but if you want to do it that way, you might have to go about creating a Boolean that just says, like I just created Boolean finish. So if it's correct, then it changes it to true and ends it. And then if it's not correct, it continues the while loop until it gets a correct answer. That's either yes or no.
Okay. Uh, I gotta change my. So this works now. This just needs to be only Y and N. And this should be. I'll leave that for a second. I probably can get rid of this now. Okay. Gonna go down here. Did I add that? Fourth one. What didn't I do yet? Color? Oh, I did color. So we need color in here also. So radius comes first, then color. Then on flag, so we got that. And then this one will be set speed. Right? Get rid of this. And here. If and we're going to do something else. It's a chart. No, all right. private. There's a dilemma there. Yes, how do I turn it on once I've created it? I'm not gonna worry about it for now. Okay, so it's on true, it's on true, and we can set the speed.
Does that set on flag need to be changed to private?
Yes, it does. If you left it public though, the user, let's say that they created a fan that was turned off at that time, it's a whole nother dilemma. Let's not worry about that. Copy this. Down here.
Chart choice.
All right. So now I'm going to go up here. This one's fine. Set color. There's a problem. Overwritable method. Constructor. Okay. That was in set color. Oh, right there. Now that's. Now let me create a fan. You know that one works. That works. Let's try N.
In the default constructor, none of those worked except for the set radius for me.
Okay, just hang on a second. See, I can't set the speed because the fan was off, okay? So now if I run it again, say it's on, it comes up and asks me, and if I type in A, it says no, can't do that. That works. Okay. So now where are you?
I am.
Check to make sure they don't have any variables where they shouldn't.
Oh,
I think the only one that should be is
None of them.
public fan. Everything else should have nothing in those parentheses after set or
Right.
get.
All these sets should have nothing in here, buddy. So if it says set, nothing should be in there. I hear you talking to yourself, Rita.
Yep.
What do you got wrong?
No, mine is working. I was just making sure that I had all my public gets and private sets.
Okay.
Do
So
we not
go ahead.
do we not want to show what they're setting the speed to? Like, do we want to put a system out message at the end of the set speed to show if they picked medium, fast, slow, or anything like that?
Well, I would think FM and S would be,
Well, we still have to build our two-string method.
yeah. What do I got speed as up here? I got it as a char up here. I kind of just like FMS myself.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure. Didn't know if we wanted to show like set speed was set at fast, medium, or slow, depending on what we chose.
Can I share my screen?
You can.
Come on down.
Still having issues with this.
Oh, because we changed this.
It should be.
Get rid of the is. Nope. Go back up. Right there. Get rid of the is.
You also have set capitalized too.
Oh yeah.
Unless you have it capitalized there.
Okay, now let's scroll down. Okay, right there.
Take out the
Get rid of the is. Okay. Now up above that. No, right above it. Next. Keep going. Right? No. You made me dizzy. Right there where it says Boolean is on flag, just put Boolean get on flag. Okay, now scroll back up.
There you go.
And go down to set color. Nope, go down. And change that public to private. Okay. So here's a dilemma, okay? By making these private, you don't have
another curly brace. There should be 3 underneath the else.
Well, he doesn't have his else in here.
Oh, there you go.
So right after else, hit enter. Opening brace, closing brace. Now system out print line, parentheses, fan must be on to change speed. There you go.
No.
Okay, you should be good. Now, again, here's my dilemma for you guys. By making these things private, I have a lot of control. But that takes away the control of the programmer. So once they create our fan, they can't change it. Okay? We took away all their rights to change anything once it's created. In other words, let's say they do a fan and they say, okay, it's turned off. They cannot go back in and turn it on because we did not give them that right. See what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I would have to make my set on flag public for them to turn the fan on. Or let's say they created a fan that was red and now they want to make it blue, the same fan, they're going to spray paint it or something. Hell, I don't know. They cannot do that because we did not give them that right. So that's an option you have to think about when you're creating the objects. How much right do you want to give to the builder when they go to build the building? Okay, if I'm the architect.
The Acme fans page. I think I messed up something with the prompt on that one.
Which one?
The Acme fans.java.
Acme fans.
Oh. There you go.
All right, you commented all that out.
Fast. Okay, true. Okay. Yeah. So again, once I create this thing, I cannot, they cannot change it. So let's try something here. Let's see if this thing works. And we're going to fix this too. Ooh.
The speed of nothing, huh? Interesting. I've never seen a speed so empty.
It's so fast.
That it just flew off the screen. That's quite the speed.
Speed. That's speed is speed. FM. So if I go here, do uppercase M F M, it sets it. Why isn't it returning it? Try it again. Okay, so enter the radius of the face. The color is red. Enter Y for on and N for no. Y. Enter and say S. carry. And to get speed. I'm gonna have something screwy with my return speed here. Speed is speed. That's speed. That's right. It asked me what the speed was. Try something else real quick. Okay, that's right. Somebody tell me what's wrong.
Take a look at mine here.
We don't actually use the variable speed within set speed. All the other ones, we use the variable that we were setting at some point.
Oh, crap. That's what's wrong. Thank you. I really want to do that. Yeah, I think so. No, I'm going to do that. Oops. Right here. Not that it matters. Add that one little thing I think is okay. Doug. Oh, that can't be. No. That'd be better. Ta-da! We could replace all these choices with just speed. It's up to you.
Is there a difference between speed equals choice or this dot speed equals choice?
Nope, same thing. Watch. I'll click on this one.
And it highlights. Okay.
If you don't want to be confused about it, same thing.
Okay.
All right, our time is up, and we didn't get. I'll go ahead and.
We didn't get to the method.
Let's see. Private, public.
What's that do?
Well, an override means that in the class, the superclass, okay, new word, superclass, in all Java, there's a class above all classes, okay? Just like when we talked about inheriting things from like animal to dog to whatever, there's a class out there that contains certain things, and one of them is toString. There's a function called toString, and we're going to override that by building our own. Okay, so instead of it using the normal toString, it'll use ours instead. But our time is up. What are we going to do? Can we go on? Can we go on?
Yep. Let's finish this.
Oh, God. I forget how to do this stuff. You would have to bring this up. Whoever did. I know it was you, Rita.
That's because I want to know how to do this.
This is going to be a return. Bastard. Let me do that though. Let's see if I can do this. La, 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 la. What is this? On?
Yes.
Just an extra parentheses after that get on flag.
Oh, what do I got? Oh.
Yeah, right there. You got it.
don't know if I put the system out here or in the other. Well, I'll try this. I'm not sure I've got. I know this is right here. I don't remember where to put the actual. Well, let's try it over here. Yes. Okay, runs to that. Two string has to have the actual statement in it, I think. Oops. Yeah.
Can I see what you typed into the Acme fans.java tab? My fan two dot two string. Okay. Thank you.
I have another illegal set of expression error on the fans.java class.
Which and where?
If is on flag equals true.
Here?
Should be-
Yeah. I'm not sure what the error is. I think I got it. I think I got it. Could you scroll down? I just ended the previous expression wrong. All right. And then now the return message is also that doesn't work for me.
Well, the only thing wrong there could be right here. Because that's the only place message is defined.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It still says the return message is broken. I got it. I got it.
Everybody else's work?
We should be able to go back to Acme fans just so I didn't get to see what you typed. My fan two dot two string. Okay.
When you run yours and it prints out the on off, does yours say true or does it say on?
It'll say true or false probably if
True.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
of
I
the one
think
you're thinking of.
Mine says true. I was just double checking.
Yeah.
You could make that say
You can
something else
make
if you
it.
do like, yeah, with the if statements or stuff like that. So if you really
Well, if you
wanted to make
type
it,
no, watch. It doesn't get printed out if the fan isn't on. Isn't that cool?
is it okay if I used an else statement to say the fan is off, or should we just leave it empty? Basically, I just made it so that way it would add that quote unquote speed, and it would just be like fan is off.
Oh, that's fine.
When I type Y, it says fan must be on to change speed.
Well, then you're typing something wrong, or something's wrong, because if you type Y in here, the fan is on, so then you can change the speed.
Yeah, I don't know where the code would be wrong with that.
Well, you got, okay. So it has to be. Right here somewhere. It has to be in here if it's showing up this message here. Instead of letting you set the speed.
Can I share my screen?
You can. Slow down. Run it once. You probably don't have two upper. Run it again. And I might have not put it in mine either. Capital Y, capital. Huh. Close it once. Let's see what we got. Go up to is on off. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Right
Dip,
there.
dip, dip, dip.
Where's the is on? Okay.
Take that.
Yeah,
Stop
Right.
scrolling.
Hang on.
Char choice equals 4. Take that out. Take off the 4.
it'd just be char choice semicolon.
Farther up. So go ahead and scroll up. I think, yeah, there you
Get
go.
rid of that.
There you go. Hmm.
I'm gonna get in here.
Stop. You're making me. Oh, right here. If choice is 1, it should be Y.
Why?
No.
Capital Y.
Case.
Yeah. There you go.
Now run it.
There you
Ta-da!
All right, you guys. I'm getting overtime right now.
go.
Are we